Hello and welcome to Creator Weekly Live for November 24th, 2024. I'm Peggy Kay, and today, this week, there are updates for YouTube, AdSense, Google Search. I'm going to talk about Google Scholar a little bit, which you may or may not know about, Threads, and some other things if there's time. Thank you for joining me live today. I'd like to say hello to you all. You can post in the live chat if you have any comments or questions or anything like that. So the first thing I wanted to start with, this is Thanksgiving week, and I wanted to just say I'm giving thanks to all of you for joining me live, so I'm not here all by myself every week. I really appreciate you joining and your discussions in the chat, so thank you. I hope you have a fantastic week, and if you're in the US and you celebrate Thanksgiving, that you have time to spend with your family and friends. So that is my wish for you all. And the first thing I wanted to talk about today are several updates for YouTube, and most of these are pretty short. The first thing is that longer shorts, so these are shorts that are between 1 and 3 minutes long. If you uploaded them between now and back to October 15th, so after October 15th, if you have a vertical or square video that's vertical, square, up to 3 minutes long, that's a longer short. But YouTube has been gradually updating its systems to show these as shorts. But this week, finally, you can see these longer shorts on the Shorts tab on channel pages, subscriptions, YouTube Studio. If you make longer shorts, so it's taken a while, but finally, these longer shorts are being treated like shorts. So that's any of these vertical or square videos uploaded since October 15th. The other thing I wanted to mention really briefly is that if you watch gaming content on YouTube, YouTube says that their 2024 YouTube gaming recap is now ready in your account. You go to youtube.com/gaming on mobile. And you can see, for example, the stats, your top 5 games that you watch, or if you're a top fan for a particular creator. If you're like me and you don't watch YouTube gaming content, there probably won't be anything there. And I just wanted to give a quick mention that all of this week's news and updates and links are in my weekly newsletter and blog post. There are links to those in the video description. So check it out and subscribe to my newsletter if you want to get these updates and tips every week, Saturday, in your inbox. Greetings to Andrew and Jolyn and Craig, who I see in the live chat. It's good to see you here. Thank you for joining me. Love to hear what you think about this week's updates. So, my big update for YouTube this week. YouTube has basically launched Dream Screen much more broadly. Now, Dream Screen is its AI tool to create backgrounds for YouTube Shorts. This was first announced in September of 2023, so it's been tested for over a year now. And now this is available in the United States, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And it's pretty easy to use. I've got a demo short on my channel. You can check that out after the live stream. Basically, you go into the YouTube Shorts editor on mobile. you tap the little button for a green screen. So that basically lets you put something behind you when you record your short. And then there's a pink sparkle button, like what I have. Whoops. What I have here, it's like, it's sort of magenta maybe, but I call it pink. You tap that, you can enter a description of what you want it to generate, select a style, and then it creates some options for you. If you like one of those, you pick it, and then you can either use that as a static background, or you can have it create a video. It creates a 5-second video. This is using VO, which is Google DeepMind's latest video generation model. And then you can use that video as your background if you want. So it's kind of fun to play with. I noticed when I was playing with it, it's kind of hit or miss. You know, if you've ever used these AI image generators, sometimes you get a great image and sometimes it's just not there. You can always go back and try again. The other thing that they have made more widely available is a feature called Dream Track. So YouTube Dream Track is an AI powered tool to create instrumental music clips. That's again in the YouTube Shorts editor. You go in there and you have an add audio button at the top, and then you can add a description of what kind of music you want, and you pick what style of music. It can be pop or country or hip hop or whatever you like, and it generates that music, and you can use it in recording your short. And then other people who see this, if they like it, they can remix that music into their own shorts as well. I'll note that if you use these tools, there is a label added to the short in the description that says it was made with altered with synthetic content. So these are labeled as having AI generated content. The other thing I wanted to mention is an AI tool that's coming to more people. It's audio dubbing. So YouTube offers creators the option to add a translated dubbed track. And the way this works is that you have your video, it's got audio, and then you choose this option and it translates your transcript and then dubs your video so people can listen to your video in their own language. It goes back and forth between English, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, and then more experimental is Hindi, Indonesian, and Japanese. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. I'm looking forward to giving that a try when I have it. The only concern I have is that I don't speak any of these languages, and so I would be concerned that the dubbed version is not accurate. And I suspect that it does less well when you're talking about technical things and use specialized terminology. Those are less likely to be translated accurately. So there's more of that coming, and it'll be interesting to see if creators who, let's say, usually create content in Portuguese offer this, and you can watch in English. I kind of like subtitles. I always use captions anyway, so I'd much rather actually just see the subtitling, but I'm always game to give something new a try. Now, I'm going to totally shift gears here. And I'm going to talk now about Google Scholar. Google Scholar is 20 years old this week. And what it is a massive database of academic articles, books. You can also access patents and US case law. And from what I've read, Google is getting this information from the publishers directly. So this should be a fairly complete database of academic research, and then you do a search and you get a link to the actual reference. So you're not just reading the abstract or description. You can also save items into your own sort of library or get it formatted as a nice citation if you're using it in some sort of publication. So Google Scholar launched Google Scholar launched 20 years ago, 2004, which really were exciting times. 2004, that's when Gmail launched, that's when Wikipedia launched. And if you were blogging, this is sort of the heyday of blogging. It was exciting times, and things like Google Scholar made it seem like, oh, we're in the information age now, and all this data at your fingertips. So it's kind of been plugging along since 2004. It's not the sexiest Google service, but I think it's an important one. And this year they've gotten a couple updates. I'll mention that it's the 20th anniversary, Google Make a Post. There's lots of fun facts about that. You should check out the link if you're interested. They have a PDF reader extension. This is for Chrome extension. And it actually sounds pretty useful, especially if you're reading academic papers, because this PDF reader can find the figures in the paper, for example, make it easy to jump to those as you're reading, let you see the citations as you're reading. So it makes the reading experience better. And because this is 2004, they just got AI generated outlines. And this is a little bit different. This is not really a summary of the paper, which is good because I'm not sure these AI tools do a good job if there's jargon or technical language. But this gives an outline of the publication. It's a very detailed outline, so more detailed than a table of contents is. And this actually sounds pretty useful. This is only in English, and Google says on selected papers. So I don't know what those limitations are exactly. Andrew asks, does Scholar have access to Lexis? No, I don't think so. LexisNexis, it's official legal database. I think that is a paid service, and no, you don't get any direct access through Google Scholar. I think it's accessing books and journals and things like that that have been published rather than what's happening in the courts right now. Jolene says, I'd like to be able to have a Spanish track on our computer club videos. Yeah, I think that's exactly the kind of thing where having a dub track would be really useful. You're providing information to people. If English is not their first language, it can be really useful to have that in their own language so they can understand what you're sharing. Again, I think this will roll out more widely next year, probably. So those is what I want to talk about Google Scholar, because I think it's neat. I know it's not really a creator thing. So I'm going to shift gears now, though, to talk about AdSense. If you are monetizing your own website with AdSense, you should be aware that AdSense is launching a new type of ad format. There are anchor ads. I'm sure even if you don't have your own website with AdSense, you've seen these. These are ads that stick to the bottom or the top of the screen as you're browsing. These new ads are collapsible anchor ads. And you can kind of see in the picture that they open as a big ad, and then the viewer can click the little button and they collapse down to the normal size. So they are much more in your face. What AdSense says, and I'm quoting this directly, is that these ads offer more room to convey the advertiser's message, which provides better visibility and higher click-through rates. All right. In English, that just means people are more likely to click them. That increases revenue if you are monetizing your own website, and it's probably good for advertisers who want people to actually click the ads if they're interested in them. The other things AdSense says is they are only going to show on mobile. They support both top and bottom anchors, and they are frequency capped per user to maintain a positive user experience. That means people won't see these great big anchor ads every time they load a web page. Google keeps track, and they will try not to show them too often. Now, what's too often, of course, varies per person. So if you have AdSense ads on your own website and you have anchor ads enabled, you will have to turn this off if you don't want these ads to show on your website. This is a close-up. So you have to go into your AdSense ad settings for your site, go to the section for overlay ads, and then under anchor ads, you can turn on or off allowing the collapsible anchor ads. Again, this is turned on by default if you have anchor ads enabled. You can also turn on or off allowing anchor ads to show on bigger screens, so that would be on desktop. I think there is a real kind of strain between advertisers and publishers and viewers. Of course, if you want to maximize your AdSense ad revenue, you have more bigger ads, but you don't want so many that it pushes people away. AdSense is always recommending, insert more ads. But in your AdSense account settings, you can actually say if you want more ads or less ads if you're using the auto ads option. So the other thing I wanted to talk about for web publishers today is an update in Google search. So Google search is updating their site reputation abuse policy. And site reputation abuse this is their definition: the practice of publishing third-party pages on a site in an attempt to abuse search rankings by taking advantage of the host site's ranking signals. So the idea is that you have a well-established site, like a news site, and then the news site sells a section of their site to post like affiliate pages or coupons, something that's not really directly associated with their main content, but that section is using the positive reputation of the whole site to rank more highly in the Google search results. Some people call this parasite SEO. I have the parasite picture here. And it's spammy, right? I'm sure you've seen these in the Google search results where it's like, here's the coupon section on this well-established news site. Why are these things even together? It's because this makes it rank more highly, and then they can get paid by the affiliates or whoever wants to post their content there. You also see this, some sites offer people the option to post their own content, sort of user-created blogs on an established news site. I think Forbes does that. Some of these established blog posts are really spammy, but it's using the parent site's reputation. And Google is saying that's spam, and they are saying that their systems are getting better at detecting these sort of unrelated sections. And they are going to rank those sections as if they are a separate website. So instead of getting the reputation for the parent site, like this site that has affiliate content or coupons or whatever, it's going to be ranked as if it's its own separate site. that's probably not going to rank nearly as well in the search results. And Google wants to make clear that they are not penalizing these sites, but instead these sites are no longer getting the benefit of the parent site's reputation, so they are going to probably drop in the search rankings. And the other clarification they made is that this is not just third-party content. It doesn't matter if it's overseen by the website owner, it's still this sort of spammy third-party content. So hopefully that helps clean up some of the spammy website stuff you see online. All right. So let me just skip ahead here. All right. I also wanted to mention a couple updates to Threads. And some of you know, I'm not really on Twitter, X anymore. I am on both Threads and Blue Sky. I've seen a bunch of you on Blue Sky. It's good to see you there. And Blue Sky is having a moment. They're getting like 1 million new users a day. People are excited. It's getting a lot of buzz. My local newspaper even had an article, oh, here's how to get started on Blue Sky. Threads never really had that kind of buzz. They kind of just used their connection to Meta and Instagram to get started. So it kind of feels like maybe Threads is getting a little concerned. And what they did this week is announce a couple of features that making people really happy. And it seems kind of responsive, like people have been asking for these features for a long time. And this kind of gave them the kick to launch. The first is custom feeds. Now, a custom feed is something you can do on Twitter, X. I love this feature. Where basically, you can make a list of profiles and search terms, and then that will be a separate tab when you're on the site. You don't actually have to follow these profiles. So it won't affect your following feed. You can have a whole separate feed. I have a local news feed, for example, where I have some reporters and news organizations and people who post about the weather, and there's updated transit information and updated earthquake information, and it's all in one feed. So when I'm interested in looking at local news, I just select that feed. So this is really nice, and you should have access to this. It was testing for a long time with a small number of people, and this past week they just said, okay, everybody has this. So if you're on Threads, check this out. The other really interesting thing that Threads did this week is that they have changed their algorithm for the For You feed. The way they say it is that they are rebalancing ranking to prioritize content from people you follow. So the Threads feed was always, some people described it as sort of being TikTok-like, where it was just a feed mostly, for a lot of people, mostly people you didn't follow, but these are like popular things, or they tried to determine what topics you were interested in and show you that kind of content. And you know, they did good, they did bad. Now they have totally shifted the way the For You algorithm works to people you're following. So like my For You feed is pretty much all people I'm following, just not in chronological order. It seems to me that maybe they're still trying to figure out the right balance for this. So I'm expecting more changes in the future. It is a bit better, though. This is different from Blue Sky, where the default is a chronological feed. You can also make lists on Blue Sky of accounts you want to follow for any reason and then view those lists. Blue Sky also does have algorithmic feeds. You can choose which algorithmic feed you want. People share a lot of them. So you can have a For You feed there, what's hot. I have feed I just added, which is supposed to show posts from people who don't post very often that I'm following. So that's kind of neat. It's all about choice. And I just wanted to leave you guys this week with a quote from Annalee Newitz. Now, Annalee Newitz, she writes about science and culture. She also writes science fiction. I should say they, she uses they pronouns. They say, as an internet old who has watched countless social platforms, chat systems, and BBSs rise and fall, I'm flummoxed by the current hot take that nothing has or will come along to replace what Twitter once was. Hello, social networks are always ephemeral, online and offline. Join a new one. So I agree with this vibe. I think they're right. And those of us who have been around for a long time have seen social networks come and go. I think we were in a sort of odd time when, there were only a couple really popular ones. Now there's going to be a bunch of social networks. People will go where they find community. So check things out. I want to say thank you all for joining me this week. There is, of course, another live stream immediately after this on the On eBoard channel. There'll be a redirect at the end. It's great if you can join us over there as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving and spend time with your friends and family and loved ones. And I will see you all next Sunday.